so you're ready to start building your wealth through investing. But with all these options out there like IRAs, 401ks, taxable brokerage accounts, it can be pretty tough to know where to start. And if you have student loans or a mortgage or even credit card debt, you might be wondering if you should be paying this off first. Now, to be honest, all of these are great options, but it's important to start in the right place and invest optimally so you're maximizing your returns. So in this guide, we're going to go over the optimal order of accounts you should use to get the most out of your investments. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to toss it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Now, first and foremost, you need an emergency fund. This should be an easily accessible cash reserve specifically set aside for unplanned expenses. This is meant to protect you and your investments as you go about your daily life. Whether it's a big medical expense or pricey car repair, emergencies happen and they're unpredictable and unavoidable. When they do happen, you need to be able to handle and maintain your life without any interruptions. And this is a very easy step to skip. But too often I see people having to pay penalties for drawing on their investments earlier than planned because they weren't expecting anything to happen to them. Now, it's typically recommended to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in an emergency fund. It's also a good idea to keep a bit extra in what I like to call a freedom fund that would allow you to leave your job for a few months if you ever wanted to. Keep this money in a stable account that lets you withdraw your funds quickly so you're ready when an emergency does happen. But make sure you choose an account that still earns good interest. A high yield savings account or money market account are great options here. Next, you want to make sure you're taking full advantage of your employer's 401k match program. Some employers offer matching contributions to their employees' 401k retirement accounts. For example, an employer might offer a 50% match on the first 6% of an employee's salary that they contribute to their 401k plan. For an employee making $100,000 a year, if that employee contributed $6,000 to their 401k, their employer would contribute another $3,000. This benefit makes for a great way to invest since it's as close to free money as you can get. A guaranteed return like this is something you don't really find anywhere else in the market. Not every company offers a 401k match, so check with your HR department to see if yours does, and if they do, what the terms are. Keep in mind that the IRS does impose limits on how much you and your employer can contribute to your 401k in a given year. This limit changes from year to year, so be sure to check what this is when you're doing your financial planning. Next, let's talk about high interest debt. Not all debt is bad, and we'll get into that more later on in this video, but it is important to make sure you get rid of your bad high interest debt. And this is generally classified as any loan where you're paying interest rates over 7%. If you're paying more in interest on your debts than you're getting back in returns from your investment, then it doesn't really make sense to invest more into those investments. For example, if I had a credit card with a 20% interest rate and a $5,000 balance, and I didn't pay this off, then in a year I'd owe $6,000 on that credit card. Putting $5,000 down to pay that off today would save me $1,000 in a year. If I invested that same $5,000 in an S&P 500 index fund that on average returns about 7% a year, I'd only expect about $350 a year from now. Your money would go farther reducing the interest you need to pay in the future by paying down that high interest debt. Now, the most likely culprit of this is credit card debt, but there are car loans out there, student loans, and even personal loans out there that can carry interest rates above 7%. So make sure you check what interest rate you're paying on all your outstanding loans when doing your financial planning. Next, let's talk about health savings accounts. A health savings account, or HSA for short, lets you save money for medical expenses in a tax-advantaged way. There are 3 incredible tax advantages that come with using an HSA. First, you can deduct any contributions to your HSA from your taxable income. This lets you pay less in taxes when tax season comes around. Second, investment returns earned within an HSA are completely tax-free. This means you don't need to pay any capital gains taxes on the returns you make investing in this account. And third, withdrawals from this account are completely tax-free and penalty-free when you use them for qualifying medical expenses like deductibles, co-payments, and prescription drugs. This is one of the best accounts you can use for tax purposes. To be eligible for an HSA, you need to be covered under a high deductible health plan. Requirements for your insurance plan to qualify can vary depending on where you live, so just check with your health insurance provider to see if you qualify. Note that the IRS does limit how much you can contribute to an HSA, and these limits can change every year. For 2023, the annual contribution limit is $3,850 for individuals and $7,750 for families. If you're 55 or older, you can contribute an additional $1,000. Next up, we have individual retirement accounts, otherwise known as IRAs. An IRA lets you save money for retirement in a tax-advantaged way. There are 2 main types of IRAs. Traditional IRAs let you deduct contributions from your taxable income, but force you to pay taxes when you withdraw the funds. You typically want to go for this if you expect to be in a lower tax bracket when you plan to withdraw these funds. Roth IRAs instead make you contribute post-tax income, but let you withdraw money from the account tax-free when you're 59 and a half. In a Roth IRA, investment returns earned within this account are also completely tax-free. So you typically want to go for a Roth IRA if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket when you plan to withdraw the funds. Now, while neither traditional or Roth IRAs offer all the tax benefits of an HSA, an IRA is still a fantastic way to keep more of your returns through tax benefits. For any IRA as of 2023, the IRS limits your yearly contributions to the account to $6,500. And if you'll be over 50 at the end of the tax year, you can contribute an extra $1,000 that year. But with Roth IRAs, this amount does go down if you make above a certain income, so check to see how much you're eligible to contribute based on your income level when doing your financial planning. After maxing out the contributions to your HSA and IRA, you should then max out your 401k. Your 401k lets you contribute your pre-tax salary to a diversified investment portfolio, and you only have to pay taxes on that when you withdraw from it in retirement. Reducing your taxable income by making 401k contributions will save you money when it comes time to pay your taxes, but just like with other tax advantage accounts, the IRS limits how much you can contribute, and this can change each year. For the 2023 tax year, you can contribute up to $22,500. And if you're at least 50 years old, you can contribute an extra $7,500 within the year. Some employers also have limits on 401k contributions, so be sure to double check on that too. Once you've taken full advantage of any tax advantage accounts you can, then it's probably a good idea to focus on paying off loans in the medium interest range. This is generally classified as any loan with an interest rate in the 4 to 7% range. It's a good idea to do this before beginning to invest in a standard taxable brokerage account because returns from investing in the stock market do come with risk. In a taxable brokerage account, we don't get any tax benefits that give us, as investors, any extra incentive to take on that risk. But if you pay off debts with a 4 to 7% interest rate, it's like guaranteeing yourself a 4 to 7% return on your investment without taking any risk. Now, typically many car loans, personal loans, and student loans fall into this category, so just look out for the rates you're paying on loans like that when planning your investing. Now, let's talk about taxable brokerage accounts. Only after you've paid your medium and high interest debts and taken full advantage of any tax advantaged investment accounts you can, should you be considering investing in a taxable brokerage account. A very common mistake that people make when they first start investing is they'll go and quickly create an account on Robinhood or E-Trade, they'll deposit money and start buying stuff without being aware of all these other accounts that they should be investing in first. And by doing that, they'd miss out on so much potential returns right from the start. So make sure you make your money work harder for you by taking advantage of all the other steps in this guide before investing in a taxable brokerage account. Finally, it's also important to be mindful of the lower interest debt we carry. And this is generally considered to be any debt that has an interest rate under 4%. Now, this is the kind of debt that's much less painful and expensive to carry than medium or high interest debt. And oftentimes, because it's less expensive to carry this debt, we're better off only making the minimum payments on this debt and investing whatever we have left in a brokerage account. But the reason why this is in the guide is because it's also important to just be mindful of how much of this you carry. It's never a good idea to carry too much debt, even if it is low interest. A common rule of thumb is that the amount of debt you should carry should never be higher than 35% of your income. So if you have the means to do so, it's definitely not a bad idea to pay off low interest debt to keep your finances under control. So with that, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button to see more videos like this one.